Good morning. So this is our anchor chart for the rhetorical analysis essay. So first we read for comprehension, then we reread and annotated for rhetorical devices, then we create the list of devices that were used, we choose the strongest device, save it for our last paragraph before the conclusion, we determine primary and secondary purpose, then we're ready to write the introduction. We begin with the summary. We give our exigence, the relevance. Why is this important? And we have our thesis in that order. Then we begin our body paragraphs. We'll have one body paragraph for each device, saving the strongest for last. Because this is the first time we've done this, and you have 4 devices listed, what you'll do is you'll choose 3 of those 4. And finally, write the conclusion, where you reiterate or repeat the thesis in new words and leave the reader with a thought to grow on, wondering, I didn't realize that. Something along those lines. So I wrote this on the back of our letter that we read and annotated on Tuesday. So what I'm going to do now is remind you that we found examples of pathos, metaphor, list, and allusion. Okay? So it dawned on me, as I began to make this video, that not every class chose list as their strong point. However, most did, so I'm going to go with list, and that's the one we're going to leave for last. Okay? I'm going to start with my first paragraph as allusion. But what you're going to find in Schoology is this frame. I've made you a frame for the introduction, and on the bottom of the same page is the body paragraph frame. Obviously, we'll start with our introduction. We have to give a summary. So, in 1780, and you're writing what I'm writing, or typing in this case, Abigail Adams wrote her son, the future president of the United States, a letter where she tries to persuade him that his decision to go with his father to France was a good one. Now, we know that he's not real thrilled about going, correct? Traveling overseas for not the first time with his father is not his idea of fun. However, he needs to go. It will serve, I'm not sure we need to say it will serve. I think we need to say instead, so again remember, marking out is perfectly okay. He will learn, now I'm saying she feels You will learn valuable things on the journey. Valuable things that will help him later. Now let me see. Valuable things that will help him later in life. I know I'm squishing. I'm sorry. Okay? So there we have our summary. Now we need our exigence. So, what makes this letter so relevant is, does she know he's going to be the future president? No. What makes the letter so relevant is she is, comma, without knowing it, correct. What he learns about dealing with heads of state and foreign dignitaries there's an I there. Will help him when he does become president. Okay? So, summary, exigence, or relevance. I'm going to flip my paper over for a moment. Yeah, wrong paper. My apologies. We're to the point where we need to put our thesis, we need to include our thesis, okay, in our introduction. So, we're going to be talking about our purpose, right? We determined that our primary purpose was she's advising her son. Our secondary purpose is the devices, so we need to state that in our thesis. Adams utilizes both historical and biblical allusions. I want you to notice the order I'm putting these in. Comma. Metaphors. Next I'm going to say metaphor. Pathos. And our strongest, listing. And that P should not be capitalized, I'm sorry. To advise her son in regards, let's change that S, to the journey he is undertaking. Okay? Now, notice the order I've put these in. Historical and biblical allusions are first. Metaphor, pathos, and listing. This is the order that they need to appear in my essay. Now I've put all four. You're going to leave one out. Okay? I would suggest that you leave out metaphor. Why? Well, there's really only one. It's not going to be the best paragraph if we include it. Okay? So, I'm going to highlight metaphor. and suggest that that be the one you not include. So my first body paragraph will be about historical and biblical allusion. My second body paragraph then would be pathos. And my third body paragraph would be listing. Let me fix this because it's really going to bother me. Okay? So those are introduction. And again, feel free to pause this as you need to. So our body paragraph, so I'm gonna have my transition be the author's use of allusion. Alright? So I'm using part of my thesis to be my topic sentence. So the author's use of allusion to what? She's using it to point out to her son what? Okay? That's what we have to say. The author's use of allusion to, again, could we say advise her son? Maybe. Could we say educate her son? Is she really educating him? Is she persuading him? What's she doing? Is she influencing? And because I'm not sure how I want to word this yet, I'm going to put both, okay? And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to highlight, so don't forget that I need to pick one of those words, because I tend to forget. So the author's use of allusion to influence advise her son Okay, so we have the author's use of allusion to influence or advise her son by, and I'm not ready for my quotes yet, so I'm going to take that off, and we're going to add this, to pander, or by pandering to his vanity, by talking about, I'm looking for my quote, by alluding to, and again, we may not want to use the word alluding that close to allusion, history, we're going to use our historical allusion first, and Cicero, implying implying that her son is a genius like Cicero. So let's rephrase that. Okay, so by pandering to his vanity, by alluding to history and implying that he is a genius like Cicero. And then we can have our quote. Alright, so our quote is here. So our quote is here. Would Cicero have shone so distinguished an orator if he had not been roused, kindled, and inflamed by the tyranny of Catiline, Verres, and Mark Antony? The habits of a vigorous mind are formed to contending with difficulties. So vigorous, genius, smart, intelligent. Okay? So we want to use the first part of that. But here's our issue. We don't want to say Cicero again so quickly. So, and this is really how I do it, y'all. This is my actual thought process. So, what I'm going to have to do real quick is stop this video and pick up on the next one.